I didn't plan to make this particular video, people. And the reason is, of course, that I am working on something much bigger. But I cannot, at this time, conclude what I'm working on particularly. As I've said, there are many statements that are wonderful training tools, but they don't necessarily get us closer to where we want to be. So I analyzed this Terry Lynn interview, and there was nothing really there. There was Chris, I guess a year ago when it took place, it would have been something new. But I also realized that it only revealed a lot about Terry Lynn trying to portray herself like a strong woman, which indicates, of course, that there is a need for her to point out something that people otherwise wouldn't be able to see because it's probably not there. So, whenever people, for example, the first thing that they do on Twitter is they label themselves as an activist, or they mention their uh, degree. Often it means that they were far from top of the class. And it also means that they rely on what they already have accomplished and don't necessarily research what else is out there. They don't necessarily have intellectual curiosity. So, one thing that you see, I have a lot of videos about Rh negative blood, and 10 years ago, I published a scientific paper with the Charles University of Prague called Worst Health Status in Rh negative subjects. Just for those of you wondering why some of my older videos about something else, and I have realized that there are very few scientists who are labeled scientists who are actually researchers. Most of them are happy with the job they're doing. They pass the exams, they're qualified to now have a position in which they are making the income that they would like to make. But the majority, they are not really interested in learning anything new, or relearning things that are now proven to be wrong, that actually used to be perceived as accurate 20, 30 years ago. But there are always these types of people who are active researchers. Those are people who are, no matter what position they are in, they live for this stuff. And I have, of course, met both types of people. And Professor Flegger from the Charles University, he is fortunately one of the guys who's uh, not only highly qualified, one of the best in the world in his field, but also a natural born researcher. And so are many of you guys who, by nature, want to look things up. So I don't want to spend too much time on people like Terry Lynn. They're not significant at all. And when I ask, can I please get a picture of the glasses that were found at Hutch Court, 210 Hutch Court, right? In Gallatin, very close to the house of the Bowerstocks. Very, very close. And Seth said originally, I think they look similar. So a lot of, hey, I go by what Seth says the first time. Now, he may say, no, they're probably not his because law enforcement told me they're not his. I don't care, bro. The first one, the first thing that you said, that is what I pay attention to. The early interviews, I pay attention to. I pay attention to Katie never mentioning Sebastian's name. Not all of a sudden, a year later, her doing everything I pointed out, or trying to. She's not actually saying, I love you. She wants to make it seem like it. And if you haven't watched my last video on John Benet Ramsey, oh my God, people, I highly suggest you watch it, even if you're not into the case. But this is basically my summary of everything that I have now learned the right way by eliminating all of the things that were rumors and false narratives and so on and so such. And the best training tool was the deceptive statement by District Attorney Alex Hunter, who decided not to prosecute the Ramseys, even though the grand jury has voted to indict. We found that out 15 years later, 14 years later. So now I have seen that statement from law enforcement. And of course, they need to make some kind of statement. And I praise police all over the world, not all over the world actually, depends what country, in the United States in general. But that doesn't mean there aren't certain pockets in certain regions where you may see some preferential treatment towards certain types of people, or where police law enforcement is not that skilled. They screw things up. And what do they want? What do they do when they screw up? I mean, they kind of want the case just to go away. The last thing they want to do is get on the stand, because they know a lawyer will have an easy time humiliating them, pointing out every mistake they have made. And it's going to be even worse when they try to, do damage control. Police officers hate to be on the stand, in general, I would say. And I can understand why. And many times they're understaffed and so on and so on. And they try to make the best out of their situation, right? So, police now made a statement. Craddock, this has been a long and difficult journey. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. Long and difficult. Who are you patronizing? Yes, it's been over a year, but we don't care. It should read, we have no results. This has been a resultless year, a year without any results. We have not been able to accomplish what we should have. So, what he is telling you is that there are obstacles for him. But who cares? This is your damn job. You think my job has no obstacles? Do I go talk about what I'm unable to do? Apparently here, that's exactly what he wants to do. Because he is giving you a justification. And that likely points out he is avoiding the real reason why there have been no results yet. As we now know, there have been many mistakes made in the very beginning, and the Proudfoots have avoided certain channels by calling the non-emergency line, probably claiming things that were not so, such as, Sebastian was seen by a neighbor that morning. Allegedly. That was the original story, and it must have come from somewhere. Everything I say is my opinion only. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. I'm not a judge. I'm not even a juror. So all I'm doing is sharing what I think about the case. Immediately, when I read this part about the journey, I know they're avoiding to mention results. They don't want to tell you where they lack. They don't want to give you first, and also in a statement like this, he is not talking to the top 10%. He's talking to the masses and considers them, this is good enough for them. I'm giving them a sob story. It's been so hard. We don't care, bro. This is your job. And what is so hard about an investigation? It's something you're trained to do. And don't focus on what you have been doing, which is nothing result wise. Nothing. Your mind should be on what you need help with to accomplish what you set out to do, unless you are avoiding this. You're avoiding it because you're already exhausted. And now he has the nerve to say, but what? Even though I am exhausted and I can't do it anymore, but guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I want to assure the public that this investigation remains active and ongoing. Oh, thank you, dude. Wow, that's so generous. What are you getting paid for? I want to assure the public. I want to. I believe that you want to. But in actual statement analysis, this is not the same as saying, I assure you, or simply saying, the investigation remains active and ongoing. That was all he had to say. This has been a long and difficult journey. No. What are your intentions behind that? To tell us how tough it's been. And why the but? Oh, it was that hard for you that now you want us to look at you as a hero, because even though you are wanting to assure us that this investigation remains active, wait a minute. Active remains. The same things are likely to continue that haven't gotten us any result in the first place. He doesn't expect an outcome. He wants to assure us that the investigation remains active and ongoing, remains. But he cannot even assure us or simply tell us this investigation remains active and ongoing. So we have to question how active it actually is. Because according to Narc Divers, several of their friends have called law enforcement, and after 2 or 3 weeks, they still haven't even gotten a reply. We will get back to you. They're being ignored. Everybody is being ignored in this case by law enforcement. So that's why I'm saying Seth has the right intentions, but he doesn't have the right judgment. So when law enforcement tells him something, it's a trash truck. Chris wants you to believe it's a trash truck. And for whatever reason, law enforcement shows him the video from 2 hours later of a trash truck. And by the way, don't believe any channel, even if they say I'm Team Sebastian, if they say ignore the lights video, ignore this until law enforcement comes out. No, do not do that. Don't let anybody tell you what you need to look at. Or don't let anybody tell you that what you see may not be what you actually see. I don't care who these people are. And if they do that and tell you, basically try to censor your mind, be very, very weary with them. And everything that they're going to tell you in the future, be careful with that. And stop talking about Terry Lynn. She's not important. The picture of the glasses is what we need, that were found on 210 Hutch Court. I want to say a lot more right now, but you know what? I think you guys figure out whom I'm talking about. I have no personal opinions or likes or dislikes that interfere with what I'm doing. I'm very neutral. I'm not going to tell you I'm Team Seth or any of that stuff. But Seth is innocent. He has the right intentions, but he also believes anything. I want you to make up your own mind and listen only to the language. So when I take the time to transcribe everything, it is because you're putting a microscope into the brain of the people who speak and show them what they don't even realize, because they create the language and it comes from somewhere. Even when they try to mask it, even when District Attorney Alex Hunter tried to make us think that the grand jury voted not to indict, they did vote to indict the Ramseys. But just basic statement analysis already would have revealed back then that he was deceptive and that the grand jury actually did not vote not to indict. And the masking indicates that they actually were not aligned with his decision not to prosecute, not to file charges. So our team continues. That's what I'm scared of, dude. Nothing new, right? Our team, he doesn't say our team is working hard on new leads. He's not giving us anything new. Everything is ongoing and it remains active. Remains. It's going to be the same old. So hope is something that has no place in statement analysis. Hope, of course, positive thinking, yes, absolutely, but hope contained. Same like pessimism. I'm not pessimistic. I am neutral, but I allow the language to guide me and show me what is going to happen. And I'm expecting absolutely zero, zip, zilch, nothing. Because our team continues. Continues with what? The long and difficult journey that has not given us any results whatsoever? Yes, that's exactly what he's telling us. And now here comes the kicker, just like Chris Proudfoot said, look everywhere, to follow every lead. That's what I'm scared of. You mean, despite what we know, if I say, oh, I just saw Sebastian at the Burger King in Pennsylvania and somewhere, you mean you're gonna spend your time following up on that, even though we know he's within the 10-mile radius? Every lead, the waste of time, because they don't have anywhere specific to look at. Or what I actually think they do know what happened. And of course, you had Tony say, Seth, they're looking at somebody, right? Didn't law enforcement tell you? So Tony's in touch with them, and his job is maybe to calm Seth down, despite the fact that nothing is going to happen. Consider that. And even though I'm not sitting down with a piece of paper or transcribing any of that, it comes to you. This is becoming second nature, people, when you do this on an everyday basis. Oh God, our team continues to follow every lead, analyze every piece. Every. You mean you spend time analyzing everything? You are lost. That's not what you're doing because you have no lead to follow. And you don't have evidence here. Same like the proud feed. Evidence, evidence, evidence. This indicates that Craddock actually knows. Not everything, but he knows where to look. And he avoids looking there for different reasons. So, this is something that's actually new for me to say what law, law enforcement has been coming up with. And so, yes, I expect absolutely nothing to come out of this case ever, ever, ever. Seriously. So, you have brought to my attention, Dawn, no, not Dawn, Dari, um, Chris Proudfoot talking about the Native American saying. Let's listen.
The people, when they say something like that, is real simple. You mean to tell me everything that's tragic in your life, you don't ever stop? You lose somebody in your life, and all you do is you just sit there and have the negative times, and you don't stop to have and reminisce. Well, I remember when Uncle so and so or Grandpa did this and Grandpa did that. Like, you don't ever do that, right? Probably. Yeah, these people we enjoyed having Katie up here. Is she holding up all right? Like, these people out here stay miserable like that, in my opinion. Like, they don't understand the real life. Right. They just dwell on it. Well, there's also a thing to say about positive affirmation. You can't live in that. You have to be positive. Like, no, he's gonna come home. And that's it. So there you go. Well, here's all right. So I'm not going to get religious on this aspect of this, but there is a saying, a Native American saying, that they say that when you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. But when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. Mm.
It's beautiful.
That's beautiful. I believe that.
Yeah, you believe. That's great, dude. Everything that's tragic in your life, Seth never said, it's tragic what's going on, because he has no time for tragedy. Because he considers the possibilities that Sebastian is still alive. Chris knows he's not. For him, this chapter of Sebastian is already closed. And you will also realize it in Katie's statement. You lose somebody in your life. These statements he just left are very obvious that he has accepted the fact that Sebastian is no longer with us. I wanted to say that he believes. No, this is knowledge. He indicates knowledge that Sebastian is no longer with us. And he doesn't allow for any type of possibility that he may be alive. He knows it. He speaks with extensive certainty. He quotes a Native American saying. He spent time on this and zero time wondering where Sebastian is or whether or not he's okay or if he's still alive. Zero. And all of these efforts to share wisdom, not only your own, but the wisdom from ancient Native Americans. He's digging back so far to share a message. And the message is, this is no big deal. When you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. But when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. Sebastian is in a better place. This is exactly what he's telling us, a so-called better place. That's why he feels the need to say, I'm not trying to get religious, because, well, I guess it's Native American religion, but he's avoiding to say, Sebastian is in a better place. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be just fine. And by the way, are you saying that you're crying? Because you're not. So this is just ill-timed and ill-placed. You're not crying. Katie isn't crying from what I've seen at all. But Sebastian is rejoicing according to this. He is talking about you guys. All of you are crying for Sebastian from his perspective, compared to, relatively speaking, compared to him. But Sebastian is okay. Don't worry about it. Let it go. Even though he doesn't want to indicate knowledge that Sebastian is gone, this is something that he feels the need to prepare us for, but under his conditions. That this is actually a positive thing. That's why he likes to joke around on these panels. So this is very obvious, guys, but I hope I've done okay exploring it even a little bit further. And Daddy asked me just, can he be that stupid? Can he be that dumb? No, she doesn't say stupid, but dumb. He's even dumber. Don't try to read too much into him. That's often the mistake that we make. When we look at people in the public eye or elevated to a level where they reach a lot of people, that we try to read too much into somebody. But this guy is not connected with the great minds of the world. He is not somebody who suddenly elevates himself to a new level of education, wisdom, exploration, science. No, he's still the same dude. The only difference is he chooses certain people and he helps make them famous. Not famous, but make them elevate their views, their reach. Simply riding on the back of Sebastian Rogers. He says, okay, I don't take money for any. Yeah, you have enough. And money is, of course, not your concern. But your reputation is, because people realize who you are. And so the more he goes on all these panels, the more he wants people to forget what happened to Sebastian. And now he's even telling us, listen, he's no longer with us. But according to Native American beliefs, everything is okay. It's okay for you guys to cry, but guess what? You have no reason to cry. Sebastian is rejoicing. The other thing, of course, the grief part, the grieving. Seth is grieving and mumming it up. I listened to her and she did pay attention. She did a reaction video on one of these. Yes, analyze evidence, but Craddock, I thought there was no trace. Thank you, Perry. Thank you, Perry. There was no trace, right? Let's get back to this. What traces do we have? What are you avoiding here? Why are you going straight to evidence? That's not your job, Craddock. That is absolutely 100% not. Yes, you have to collect evidence. But when it's evidence, it means you already have the traces. You already know what happened. Maybe not everything, but you know where to look. And the same like the Proudfoots talk about evidence, no evidence, no evidence, both of them. Individually in different interviews, that has been the theme. I believe that after a few days, law enforcement already knew where to look, but they could no longer do it because in the first 72 hours they treated it as a runaway case, just as a call for assistance, probably of a boy who's not in the right state of mind, who's not all there. That's how they portrayed him. Unable to communicate properly, just lost his mind and ran out of the house for no reason whatsoever. That's what they tried to portray. Katie even told us later on that it is common among children on the spectrum to elope. But at that point, she actually tried to take back the image that was created by her of Sebastian, her son. At that point, they already felt safe. Their traces are obvious, but they are not able to get the evidence. They would have to go to many different channels to get the right search warrants for the right properties close to where the glasses were found. Again, people, take a few minutes away from Terry Lynn and help me find that image of the glasses, because I saw the post on Facebook, and let me see what it says exactly. That was from a year ago. What group was that? I know that one group, they oh, interesting. That post was, wait a minute. That post was just deleted. But of course, I screenshotted it. There was a conversation where they were found would be helpful info 1 year ago in a Facebook group, I don't know which one, about the glasses. So the reply goes, they were found near the Bowersack's home, I heard. Terry Lynn and Seth say in her life. Really, Terry Lynn again, oh my God. Not sure how close to their home or what, but they said close, very close actually. I just saw the map. I just Google mapped that stuff. Then 5 miles. I just made a note. It's a lot less than 5 miles from what I've seen, because it is the next side street from their home. I just made a post on it that's waiting to be approved, and I included a pic, really, a pic of the glasses. And the next person is 210 clutch cord gelatin. No, it's not clutch, it's Hutch. Hutch. And Hutch is, there is no clutch in Gallatin, a small town. Very small rural place. There is no clutch. It's Hutch. So, again, he's telling us we cannot prove what we already know. So now we're looking at everything, which also means we're not really looking at anything in this context, because they don't have, now they are completely lost. It's like an anthill where you kill the queen, or the beehive where you kill the queen, and they are, you know what I mean? It's kind of like the essence, the core of the investigation has been compromised and can no longer be followed properly. So they are unable. Seth is grieving. That's what Chris told us. Seth is not grieving because Seth said when you stop searching, you lose hope. He's operating on hope. And that is also expected. People have remained for 40, 50 years in the same exact home, even though they wanted to move away, had better job offers elsewhere, because the mother is still waiting for her then 8-year-old son to come home, who disappeared 50 years ago at the age of 8. And it doesn't matter what types of statistics you present her with. She will tell you, no, I don't care what you people say. This is my child. This is your job. And people do well, but people also fail at their jobs. This is not a matter of failing or succeeding. This is my life. And I'm holding on to it. Every single piece of hope. Seth doesn't tell you he's grieving. Seth doesn't say this is a tragedy, because a tragedy would be final. Did Seth say he lost Sebastian? I don't know. But he's finding him. At least he's trying to. And he doesn't say, I want to assure you, or I want to tell you I'm searching. He said, I keep searching. He keeps it so simple because you know what? There is no need for flowery and additional language to ingratiate the public. Craddock's concern is the public. Because he cannot come up with the evidence. You can expect a Netflix special, and again, some of the channels telling you what you should look at and shouldn't look at, you will realize they're going to make money with that. A lot of money. So make up your own mind. Only look at the statements. Follow the language, and they will all tell you exactly what is going on. Even though they're trying to mask it. And one more time, please listen to the... No, please nothing. I don't care. You guys do what you want. But if you want to see a prime example of what deception looks like, yeah, let me just post this really quickly on Twitter. The image that I just downloaded. Which Facebook group is this conversation from? You see, if you send me something and then delete it, then maybe I'm assuming that you have friends in other places and somebody told you, ooh, don't share this. But guess what, people? I don't play these games. I'm here for only one reason, and that's to discover what happened. And my last video, what did they do with Sebastian's body, is a lot better than this one. This one is a training tool, and this is for the people who think that Craddock is looking for something, or say, let's not wait for law enforcement. You can wait for law enforcement forever, and it's a nice thing to say. Let's wait for the courts. Let's wait for it. In other words, don't think, bro. Don't think. Just shut off your mind, man. Just don't worry. Don't stress. Just sit there for hours and hours. I mean, years and years, and call it a mystery, and dismiss everything, and follow all the wrong leads, like we did in the John Benet Ramsey case, based on the deception of the district attorney and the Ramseys themselves. They actually told us what happened. It is that simple. It's that easy. And another question I received is, I just want him to be okay. That's what Katie Proudfoot said. I want you to think he's okay. Because there's nothing I can do anymore. Nothing I can do can change the final outcome that is already there. It's out of my control. There is no sense of urgency and no worry. He's no longer in the way of her relationship with Chris. Yeah, I'm sure she wants him to be okay. I mean, that sounds like, hey, nothing personal, bro, but you were in the way, right? How does that make you feel? When do you say, I just want things to be, when you're powerless? When there's nothing left to do for you anymore, when you know that there's nothing left to do, or nothing that you can do about what already took place. Is he okay? Not, I want him to not worry he's not okay. There is no concern what he's going through. Not once did she say that. Seth, immediately he teared up and said, I'm wondering who he's with. if that person is treating him okay. Does he have clothes? Does he have food? Does he have a decent bed to sleep in? All of these worries, when you consider all possibilities, because you don't have knowledge of the passing of your son. And that's what it is, unless there is the definite knowledge. And even then, some parents of missing children continue to be in denial. And they say, well, DNA tests can be wrong sometimes. I don't think that's his body. Because hope is their fuel. And when Seth said, Sebastian is my life, I believe him. Even if, why did Sebastian not tell him what was going on? Well, maybe Sebastian witnessed Chris pushing Seth around, or yelling at him and bossing him around. That's what I thought the other day when I heard where Chris cussed him out for bringing up that somebody allegedly saw Kathy Bowersox's car at Worshams that morning at 5:30 a.m. Hey, I still would like to know who first came up with this. Who first made this claim? I want to know. Because according to Chris's reaction, according to his patterns, there's something to that. The patterns don't lie. We all have them. And Seth said, hey buddy, hey buddy, hey buddy. That seemed like familiar territory to me. And that Chris would call him, hey, did you give him any money? As if Seth is his child. Children, and especially children on the spectrum are extremely perceptive. So I think Sebastian had in the back of his mind, Chris has all the power and my dad really doesn't have any. So he figured, even if he told his dad what was going on, his dad wouldn't be able to do anything about it. And maybe Chris would chastise him, or would not beat him up, but yell at him and cuss him out. And he would only cause problems. And then maybe his dad would say, listen, maybe this weekend you cannot come here. Maybe these types of worries are there, exactly what Sebastian had. I think these were the types of thoughts that he had, because had he seen Seth be strong with Chris and say, what do you mean? Did I give him money? Are you crazy? This is my son. I can give him money. He has a right. But he didn't do that. So Sebastian is a lot smarter than they tried to portray him to be in the beginning. Probably much smarter than Chris. Not just probably. I'm 100% sure. Intelligence-wise, the way he applied himself when we saw these videos on whatever task he was learning, I'm sure that he was the type of person who, you see, other people, they correct themselves. Certain people. He is. In my case, it's different. I want to have hope, but I don't go by that, And I don't want to be the bringer of bad news. But as I see it, and I give you reason why I see it this way, I have to stick by this, and I will stick by it. And it means that when I make a video, I don't think about how will it make people feel. I have to distance myself and realize this is what it is. And then I make the video, and then I wait a little bit, and then I look at the comments. Sometimes I look right away, but I cannot be emotional about any of this, and neither can you. And I see people just flaring their emotions all over the place. But when I ask, who has seen a picture of the glasses? I don't know, I can't find it. Well, guess what, people? When we are looking for something important, we cannot let go. We cannot get sidetracked. It means that even now, when we go and post about it anywhere we have an outlet, be it Facebook, Twitter, whatever, wherever you have the most followers. Excuse me, did anybody happen to see? And as I'm happy to know that some of you have seen the comment where Chris said, don't mess with a blue collar man. Why? Because we have access to asset. He didn't necessarily delete just this one comment, but he changed his settings to where, at least I cannot see any of his older posts. And I guess you have to be, maybe a setting is changed to where only he can see it. Who knows? But the bottom line is, it has to be noted that there's something he wants to hide. So now I'm waiting if somebody has seen the conversation. And yes, I have screenshotted it. So just because you change your mind, you see, I cannot trust people's intention. You see, the problem is, a lot of people are just weak, Somebody says, oh, don't show this, don't share this, and then immediately, what did I do? And I hate that. Weakness can get people in trouble, seriously. And there's no need to be that if you are truly interested in the end result, which is to bring all of the answers that are there. And let me see about the Craddock thing again. I want to make sure to read the whole statement. It says TBI, the TBI continues to assist the Sumner County Sheriff's Office in this investigation. Now, Craddock, okay. Our hearts remain with Sebastian's family, friends, and everyone in the community who continues to hope for answers. Hope also is not very strong. Not search for answers, hope for answers. You people have hope. We may have the answers, but we cannot get the evidence. Then he says Sumner County Sheriff Eric Craddock. This has been a long and difficult journey, but I want to assure you, the public, that this investigation remains active and ongoing. Our team continues to follow every lead, analyze every piece of evidence, and attempt to find the truth about what happened to Sebastian. That is the whole statement. So I appreciate you guys very much. Please share with me what you can find. I am firetown@gmail.com or Firetown on Twitter. If you have images, screenshots, especially pictures of the glasses, send it to me. You can also leave me a comment before. Please continue sharing my videos on whatever outlets you have the most reach, which I may not, be it Twitter, Facebook, be it, there are so many networks these days, and I'm focused basically on YouTube, Twitter, because I have some great people on there. And I guess everybody has Facebook, right? So once in a while you see me in this one group, Justice for what's the name of it? Finding Sebastian, whatever. There are so many groups, but there's this one that I'm in where things are reasonable for the most part, because I don't think any of you should spend even a second arguing with people who are unwilling to do research. If they do not try to prove you wrong based on the analysis, introducing their own analysis, it is worthless to speak with them. Even if you win the argument, you are still down 30 minutes of your life that you cannot get back. And you haven't made any progress in moving us closer to finding out what exactly happened to Sebastian Rogers and who is responsible for his disappearance.